What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. It's been a minute, but I really felt the need to come through and speak on this situation involving ashy yuck mouth Isaiah Washington and what he had to say regarding the late and great Aaliyah. So that's right. One of y'all black kings with no kingdom, or no kingdom, no castle, no crown, no claim to any throne, has something to say about Aaliyah. Again, one of y'all black sons that y'all love so much, one of y'all brothers, one of y'all daddies, one of your baby daddies, one of your Amazon Prime delivery guys had something to say about Aaliyah. And to be fair, Isaiah Washington probably is not an Amazon Prime delivery guy. Or perhaps even a baby daddy. I think he's actually married. But nevertheless, I do have some things that I need to say about this. So, once again, for some odd, strange reason, black men go to Vlad TV to say controversial opinions that put them in hot water and get them, I'm gonna put them in a situation where people are kind of looking at them with a bit of a side eye. And at this point, I'm thinking, like, does Vlad have some sort of a spell on these Negroes? Because it's more so black men who are doing this, not black women. Trust me, if it was majority black women, we would be talking about this till the cows come home, about how black women going on Vlad TV, getting caught up in controversy and messing up their career and fumbling their bag and getting put in jail for things that they said on Vlad TV, getting got because of things they said on Vlad TV. But since it's black men, it's like, oh no, they is victims. Vlad be brainwashing our brothers. It ain't their fault. Vlad be setting them up. Vlad be making them say things and do things that they don't really want to do or say. I know the agenda. I know how they want to portray our kings to look like thugs and criminals. But y'all can't get me to think that. I'm too woke for that. This a woke black queen right here who loves her kings. You feel me? Etc., 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 yada, yada, yada. But seriously, does Vlad have some sort of a spell on these Negroes? Or also, it's like it could be a spell, or either these black men really crave some sort of a validation from Vlad. Like, they really seem to crave Vlad's white validation. I mean, because again, if this was black women doing this, that would be the narrative. Oh, they want white daddy Vlad's validation so bad, right? Yeah. Or perhaps these dudes are just really dumb as F. Either way, they back at it again, and we got something to talk about yet again. And this involves Aaliyah, and as you know, we all know, unfortunately, Aaliyah is not with us, and that makes it even worse because she can't really defend herself or speak on the situation herself. I wonder if she was alive, would she even be speaking on this situation, or it would just be something that she would never hardly speak about at all. I wonder how, Aaliyah would, handle this situation. But I think this has probably gone somewhat mainstream because Billboard, yes, Billboard actually did an article about this. And considering that yuck mouth, ashy mouth Isaiah Washington isn't a musician or a singer or a songwriter or anything with music, it's very interesting that Billboard would pick this up. But then again, Aaliyah is a singer, or well, was a singer. But I'm going to read through this article right quick and give you my thoughts and opinions as I go, and as well give you some more commentary after the article. So here we go. So actor Isaiah Washington sat down for an interview with Vlad TV this week where he shared his thoughts on his Romeo Must Die co-star Aaliyah, who secretly married R. Kelly in 1994 when she was only 15, and the Ignition singer was 27. During R. Kelly's racketeering and ex-trafficking trial in 2021, the singer's tour manager, Demetrius Smith, shared that he had reason to believe R. Kelly had impregnated Aaliyah when she was still a minor, which is why they got married. The marriage was later annulled in February 1995. Aaliyah died tragically just a few years later in 2001 at the age of 22 in an airplane accident in the Bahamas. While many believe that R. Kelly preyed on the late star when she was just a teenager, Isaiah Washington claimed in an interview that she was not a victim. He admitted that he had a crush on the then 21-year-old mysterious singer while filming Romeo Must Die, in part to her being so mature. All right, so let's stop there for a quick second. Mature, because that's something that's going to come up again and again when they are putting maturity on black girls who are not of age. And they're pushing that word, oh, you're mature. And that's probably how they these predatory dudes, that's probably how they come on to them, at least part of it. A bit flattering, like, oh, you're so mature. You're so mature for your age. But the thing is, Aaliyah was 15 years old. R. Kelly was 27 years old. R. Kelly should have been mature enough for his age not to have pursued that relationship to begin with. And even still, people kind of gave R. Kelly a slide. People let R. Kelly slide with the Aaliyah situation. They let R. Kelly slide with the Sparkle situation, even though there was videotaped evidence of R. Kelly doing what he was accused of. At least that's from what I hear. And as well, R. Kelly has gotten probably a lot more passes than that over the years. All right. As R. Kelly matured in age, not necessarily his mentality, the women that he pursued, their age tended to stay the same, seemingly. Yeah, he had a wife, but it seemed like the children that he pursued, preyed upon, like, again, like he's like in his 40s or 50s or whatever, and the age has never changed. It's like as he matured, his tastes in women, or at least the ages that he wanted them to be, it didn't mature with him. And also, a lot of people like to argue, oh, well, back in the day, 15 used to be, the age of consent, or either, oh, back in the day, folks got married at 16 and 15. People got married back then. And the thing is, well, that may be true, but the thing is, that was relative to that time period. The thing is now, times have changed. And as times change, we progress. So what was okay back in a certain time era may not be okay now. And it's largely due to and attributed to laws that have been put in place, right? Like we can say the same thing, or some people can make the same thing about slavery, right? I mean, at one point, chattel slavery was legal. So some, you know, racist person could be like, I should own a slave because back in the day, my great great grandpappy used to own slaves. That used to be what we do back in the day. We need to put them people back on the plantation and get them to work. And based on this argument of, oh, well, back in the day, they used to do that. Well, technically, he would have an argument. But, back to the maturity thing, though. Folks really do like to push maturity onto black girls. And not to say that you can't be mature for your age, but I think the community goes too far with that and tends to put maturity on black girls to the point where we're treating black girls like black women. And it's like, no, they're still girls. They just happen to be mature for their age. But they're still the age that they are. And in Aaliyah's case, she was still 15 years old. And as well, again, speaking about laws that were put in place to help protect girls like Aaliyah, right, and R. Kelly's other victims, the law says that Aaliyah was not old enough to consent to a relationship with R. Kelly. So right then and there, R. Kelly is in trouble. He has broken the law. And, I'm pretty sure that they'll find I don't think they'll blame it on Aaliyah in this case. I think they'll just find a way. Either they would try to blame it on Aaliyah, or either they would try and do what Isaiah is doing and just be like, well, it wasn't really like that. Oh, she matured for her age. And by the way, I really think that he's doing this because it's a low-key way of defending R. Kelly so that he doesn't look so bad, right? By focusing on, oh, Aaliyah's mature, so it was okay. It wasn't like he was like taking advantage of her. And to be fair, we don't know all the details of their relationship, but I do know that it broke the law. And as well, I really do think that when it comes to just, the community in general, I really think that the community has a poor track record of advocating for black women who are victims of some sort of sexual violence. It either turns into victim blaming or either finding some way to protect the predator. And unfortunately, when it comes to black women, at least in the United States, unfortunately, black women's chastity, if that's how you say it, or purity, was never something that was seen as being worthy of being protected. In fact, I think even at times it was just assumed that black women and girls did not have purity to be protected. And unfortunately, black women as a collective in the United States, that's the perspective that I come from because, I'm in America, I'm American. But black women in the United States, unfortunately, have just been, experienced so much like violence, especially sexual violence, from, of course, from white men initially, and also now it seems like black men are the ones who are doing it. And, the community is just filled with so so many predators and predator protectors, and the predator protectors are like very like, I don't know which one is worse, the predator or the protectors of the predators. The people who give them cover so that they can continue to do what they have done. Like, I don't have kids, thankfully, but if I ended up having like a daughter or daughters, I'm not sure if I would raise them exclusively within the black community, especially if they came out like brown skin or dark skin, because that's a thing too. But then again, I think that probably, all shades of black women are going to be getting it one way or another. But let me get back to this article. It's not too long. As far as the R. Kelly relationship, Isaiah said that he believes she, Aaliyah, was in control due to her mature personality. Quote unquote, she was very in control of her being, but she was a businesswoman too. I'm not sure what that has to do with anything. Super smart, he said. I think she was in control of that situation even at her age. And the thing is, when he saw Aaliyah on Romeo Must Die, or, they were co-workers there, she probably was more mature than she was at 15. And I think that may be something that's not connecting either. She probably was not the same person on Romeo Must Die during that situation that she was when she was 15. And even if she was, so what? It's against the law. So right then and there, no. And by the way, Isaiah Washington is a father. And I believe he has at least one daughter. I think two, actually, but at least one daughter. Yet he still is saying and putting out this rhetoric that's very dangerous. So again, like, folks who want to hoop and holler about black men being the best fathers because the CDC says so. The CDC says that Black Canes was the best daddies ever. I personally have done a video explaining what exactly that CDC study was all about. And a lot of people and a lot of articles have misinterpreted what that CDC study was all about. A lot of people interpreted it as just it being, absentee fathers versus non-absentee fathers, when it wasn't like that. Not at all. Absentee fathers were not mentioned at all in that study. It was about fathers who were active being compared to fathers in other ethnicities and races who were active. Absentee fathers are not mentioned at all in that study. And I think a lot of people like to put it that way, like, it's, black daddies, the best daddies, because the CDC says so, and they the most active, and, they ain't absentee. But then on the next breath, talking about, welfare and government cheese took them out the black home. When in reality, I think it was more so these dudes just wanted to get out of the black home anyway. And then they talk about feminism too. And I'm thinking, like, does any of these black dudes who hoop and holler about feminism and about black women joining feminism, trading the black man in for a welfare check and government cheese, did their mothers actually do that? For some reason, I don't think so. For some reason, I don't really think that was their situation. But, in regards to Isaiah Washington and him being a father, it's just another example of, black fathers continuing to fail their children. collectively speaking. I'm not sure if his situation in his relationship with, his actual children. Not sure, not really interested to know at this time. But let's continue with this article. Quote unquote, she, Aaliyah, was 15 going on 30. No, she was 15 going on 16. So she was in control of that whole situation. He later added, quote unquote, I don't judge her, but she was very smart and very mature and very in control of her situation. I don't believe 1 minute that Aaliyah was made to do anything that Aaliyah didn't want to do. And he said that he doesn't judge her. Judge her for what? Exactly? For being a victim? Do you judge R. Kelly? That's the more important question. Do you judge R. Kelly? And I'm pretty sure he's going to find a way to not implicate R. Kelly in all this. But that's the end of the article, though. Pretty short and straight to the point. But again, he said he doesn't judge Aaliyah. That's wonderful. Good for you. Bien por ti. But what about R. Kelly, though? And that's the thing, too. During this whole exchange, R. Kelly wasn't really brought up at all. It was just more focused on Aaliyah. And really, all this, and plus a lot of other things, really shows that the black community is not here for black girls or black women. And as well, what made him say this? Well, I guess Vlad. I guess, when they get in front of Vlad, they just want to spill their heart out to Vlad and get his little, get Vlad to pat them on the head. You feel me? They just want that white validation from white daddy Vlad. He's the dad that they never had. So, they tell him something, some juicy little story or something, something that can get Vlad some traction on his channel, get him some ad revenue money, get Vlad posted in the vlogs and the blogs and even mainstream. Billboard covered this story. And, that's going to make Vlad very happy. And, when Vlad is happy, these dudes get a pat on the head. And Vlad is just like, good job, Tyrone. Thank you very much for this great story that I'm going to make a ton of money on. You have been an exceptionally helpful idiot Negro. Thank you so much. Come over here. Let me pat you on the head. You have done such a good job. You know what? I'm even going to give you a hug. Come here. Let your white daddy give you a hug. You're such a good little Negro. You really are. Yeah. But the thing is, Isaiah Washington, I think his career ended up stalling and taking a hit back in that whole, when he was on Grey's Anatomy way back in, I forget the year, but he used to be on Grey's Anatomy, but then he wound up getting caught up in some sort of a controversy, scandal, involving a coworker and him saying like homophobic slurs towards his coworker. And apparently, I think something like that has come out that on Romeo Must Die, he was like doing some, I guess, saying some offensive stuff towards someone who was homosexual, right? And Aaliyah had checked him on it and made him apologize. So I guess, Aaliyah gets some points there, and they're going to be all hooping and hollering that, Aaliyah is a pro LGBTQIA plus. And hey, that's what's up. But the thing is, I think that situation, and plus just Isaiah Washington being Isaiah Washington, I just think that his career ended up not being all that it could be, But before I go, I do want to speak on one more thing, and that is the hierarchy within the black community. Of course, I've spoken on like the colorism hierarchy that exists in the black community, but there's also just a hierarchy in general when it comes to like importance and advocacy. And it goes like this. So black men generally are on the top of the hierarchy when it comes to like, importance and advocacy and whatnot. Next is black boys. Then black women. And on the bottom, black girls. Why is the hierarchy built like this? I have no clue. It's very it's very confusing to me. But think about it, especially if you're saying like, no, that's not true. It's not like that. I think you really need to just take a moment and really think about it. When it comes to issues in the black community, whose issues get pushed to the forefront? Whose issues get pushed to the back? When it comes to black people who get caught up in like police brutality or something, who gets pushed to the forefront, who gets pushed to the back? When it comes to black people who are victims within the black community, who gets that's the thing too, because it's like, okay, this is how the hierarchy, well, an example of how the hierarchy works. So, okay, if a black boy has a problem with a black man, say his black father, like with 50 Cent and his son, they're going to be on the black man's side, the black father side in this case, right? Because of the hierarchy. Now, if that black boy had a problem with his black mom, then they'll be on the black boy side. I don't have an example of that, but I will say that in general, a lot of people in the community do blame a lot on black moms. And the thing is, not to say that black moms don't have a responsibility, because they do, but it's like, well, what about black dads? Because I don't really hear people going hard about black dads. And if you do, especially as a black woman, then folks are going to come for you. Folks are going to be like, well, you should have chose better. Oh, well, maybe that's your black baby daddy. Oh, don't put that on all the brothers. Don't put that on all the fathers. And also, you remember that, this is a while ago, but it was like a young black teenage boy was, I think, participating in perhaps some protest or something, or either he was doing something he wasn't supposed to do. Then his black mama, snatched him up. And folks like, you wasn't supposed to do that in public in front of folks. Oh, look what they doing in the media. They're going to push this in the media. Now, all of a sudden, folks know about optics, know about image and imagery and symbolism. And then also, folks was on the black boy side because his black mom did it. But if his black dad did it, then of course they would have been on the black dad side, right? Doing the same thing, but oh wow, because a black man did it. Oh, it's like, oh, it's the best thing ever. That's what you're supposed to do, right? And then also on social media, there's like this thing, low key, of like black moms humiliating or embarrassing their black daughters and like, whooping them on like Facebook Live and stuff. Since the target is black daughters, if the target was black boys, it would have been, nah, you ain't supposed to be doing that, kind of like that. Nah. That's why our brothers got so many problems now, because they mama always got a son do. She be doing the most. But if it was the black dad doing it, then it was like, oh, see, y'all need to be happy that a black dad is in the life and doing something. Y'all just need to be happy a black dad is there to begin with. At least he active in his son life. At least he ain't gonna let his son be no criminal. At least he ain't gonna let his son be no thug, no gang banger, no thug. Even though the black mom is probably doing more or less the same thing, right? And doing it for more or less the same reasons, but no. But that was a bit of a rant, but I'm going to bring this video to a close. I didn't mean to go on for this long. I just had a few things to say, plus I've been going for a minute, so I wanted to add in a few things to say even more so. But yeah, I could probably go into talking about that whole situation with like Corey Holcomb and talking about black fathers and not being active if they don't like the mom, active in their children's lives. If they don't like the mom, if they do like the mom, then they're active. Oh boy. Yeah. Also, him calling his black wife, calling his biracial wife, sorry about that, half breed. And it's like, I guess the love is over. Because that's the thing, when the love over, these dudes gonna turn you into, toss you aside, turn you into, and call you all kinds of like, just names, right? Like, oh, I'm sure she was like the best thing ever when everything was going good, but when the fetish wore off, then it's all this half breed. Another video for another day. Then plus that whole Nicki Minaj situation with Lotto. Oh boy. And Nicki Minaj wanting to weaponize black people against Lotto. Nicki Minaj is good for trying to weaponize black people to go hard for her causes. But that's another video for another day. But I don't know if I would. I'm not sure if I even go into that because it's just, I don't know. But thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.